Assalamualaikum for the respect, Madam Yusni and everyone who's watching today. Today, I with my groupmate Natrah is going to be talking about our topic, which is Nadim, and persuade the audience that Nadim is indeed a fact. I'm sure most of you know about Natrah, but do you have any idea about the famous warrior named Nadim? They even live in the same era and the same country. Our interest started when we went into National Library as part of our study weekend activity, and then we spotted this book about Nadim. When we mention about Nadim, I am sure many of you are more familiar with Nadim, who saved Singapore from attack by the sword of a swordfish named Soda, rather than Nadim the warrior. But today, we will talk about Nadim the warrior. To establish, we did a lot of research about Nadim from various sources to confirm that the story of Nadim is true. Nadim the warrior is a true story because there is a proof that there is a physical evidence about Nadim. The story that Nadim went to Benua Kelen to fulfill the request of Sultan Mahmud and make a lantern for King Salem, and the story about the war that Nadim has led in centuries. Now, let's start with who Nadim is. Nadim is son of Hang Jebat. Nadim was born in Pulau Besar. Hang Jebat, a Panglima Sultan Mansur Shah, was his father, and Dang Wangi was his mother. The early story of Nadim, according to Helmi Effendi of the Petrus Asia 2009, record that when Hang Jebat perished at the hand of Hang Tuah, he was still in his mother womb. Nadim was adopted by Hang Tuah after his birth and was well cared by Hang Tuah. He was married to Hang Tuah's daughter, which is Tun Emas Jiwa. From this marriage, when Hang Tuah's daughter Tun Ali was born. Furthermore, there is proof that Nadim Town was found in Sungai Rochor, Bintan. Nadim Town was found in the village of Teluk Dendang, which was formerly known as Teluk Bangsal, and Sungai Rochor, located in Desa Rusong in Riau, and there is a yellow cross on the tombstone of Nadim grave.
Now that we have shared physical evidence about Nadim, we will share some of the history of Nadim next, which is where Nadim went to Benua Keling to fulfill the request of Sultan Mahmud Shah and make a lantern for King Salem. In the book of Sulalatu Salatin stated that Sultan Mahmud told him to go to India to buy 40 pieces of clothes, and each piece must have 40 types of flowers. Here he had his own desire came flower and gained complement from the clothesmaker in India. On the way back to the Malacca, the ship he was on was hit by a storm and stranded on the Ceylon island. Here, Nadim showed his skill in drawing pattern on lantern and presented them to the King Salem. Then he was awarded by the king, and because of his shipwreck, Nadim could only bring back 4 pieces of clothes. Therefore, he was angered by the Sultan. To get rid of the anger, he ran away to Tun Teja, the beautiful daughter of the Pahang treasurer from Pahang, and took her to Malacca and presented her to the Sultan to be his wife. Although in the Hikayat Hang Tuah, it is stated that it was Hang Tuah who ran away from Tun Teja, but it seems that Malay history is more accountable. After we share the history of Nadim, let's move to the next point, where Nadim has also led many wars in the past, which is another proof that he does exist. Nadim was appointed as admiral in 1509. This is because Nadim also helped Sultan Mahmud Shah in 2 years to take over Malacca from the Portuguese. In 1516, Nadim attacked the Malacca in the hope of reclaiming it from the Portuguese, but sadly the attack was not successful. Then in 1524, Nadim again besieged Malacca in the hope of cutting off the logistic of Portuguese food, but it turns out that the Portuguese got help from the India. He also has a nickname called the Bloody Fighting Admiral Nadim because in Sejarah Melayu said that Nadim was famous for fighting with blood 32 times. Dr. D.K. Bassett, an English historian at the University of Malaya, mentioned that the name of Nadim as the actual planner of the Malay resistance in year 1521 on Bintan Island. Nadim was appointed admiral to replace the late Khoja Hassan. He held the post and elevated King Umar as the Sultan with the title of Sultan Ali Jala Abdul Jalil. He also served the Sultans, namely Sultan Mahmud, Sultan Alauddin, due to attacks from the enemies. We hope our speech has shown you that Hang Nadim's story is not a myth but a fact story. Throughout this persuasive speech, we told a little about the fact that Hang Nadim is real and has a physical evidence, the history and the wars that Hang Nadim has led. Also, we hope our speech now can convince you all that Hang Nadim exists and is not a fictional story since he has a history with the war that Hang Nadim has led for centuries. Whether you believe it or not, the story of Hang Nadim grows more ominous and solitary over time in our nation's history. To appreciate the sacrifice and efforts for those who have passed before us, we should emphasize this history value. We might not have been able to enjoy the natural beauty of the land and have a decent night's sleep in this land of violence if even for the sacrifice made by prior generation. Thank you. That's all from us.